Halito, Chiatamo, Oshio. Welcome to the Happy to Be Nappy Show, yo. And I am your host, Chief Tanis Iskatani, how to push ni takomi, which means little butterfly under the moonlight. And I would like to start off by saying I reserve all my exclusive rights. And today's topic is BET, the Black Entertainment Network. First of all, we're not black, we're brown. And the original people that are black, I'm going to show you right now. Okay? Black and black, Paulo, Juan, blacken, to become pale, to turn white, to bleach, also to lighten, bleak. These all came from the 1849, 1854, and 1859 edition of the Noah Webster's Dictionary. You see that? I'm going to break down the word Caucasian for you, okay? Because when you have Caucasian, it's C-A-U-C-A-S-I-A-N, Asian, because the Caucasian and the Asian is the same people, okay? They are the same, okay? But there was a brother. Okay, so there was a brother that came on. He came on Facebook. This brother, and he's speaking truth, because first of all, I'm from the 1960s, okay? I'm born 1962. In the 60s, we never heard about no African, no nothing. Remember, the 60s was the Civil Rights Act and the Civil Rights Movement. So if we're allegedly African, how come in the Civil Rights Act and movement? Because the Civil Rights Act was a peace treaty. It was the Indian Removal Act and the Indian Bill of Rights. The problem with so-called allegedly black American that were labeled black by the government, okay, we went through all these reclassifications so that we're not connected to our land. Okay, this woman gets up there on BET and to remember that before we were anything, we were African. Well, Nigeria, because of Thurman Good Marshall, he's the one that took the foot off of the backs of Nigerians, okay? Because Nigeria was oppressed in the 60s, just like Ghana was oppressed in the 60s, okay? Once and for all, Africa has no census. They have no records of none of their ancestry. There wasn't a West Africa. The scriptures talk about Egypt and Ethiopia. It don't talk about Africa. It don't talk about nothing about West Africa. That's all put together. But what I don't like about our people, we listen to celebrities, athletes, and politicians, and we don't do our research. But it's a movement of us out there. Shout out to Gaddy Green. Shout out to The Earth Speaks. Shout out to everyone. Alicia Nicole's Origine Sounds. The list goes on and on. The list is endless because we're not playing. We know who we are, and this is our land. This is my questions. In the 60s, and I watched my parents cry when Martin Luther King was assassinated. There was no Africans, okay? There was no talk of Africa, okay? The only talk came with Africa is in the 1990s. 36 years ago when Mandela came to Harlem, all that. My parents know their genealogy. They know who they are. Africa has no records of who they are, but they want to sit up there and tell us, and our people are so small-minded that they don't do their research. They just go around listening to what somebody told them. So I want you to listen to this. Okay, I'm gonna start.
So BET want to be just like Essence Fest.
Like you were Africans before you became anything else.
Yeah, I think this is the last year that Black Americans need to be watching the BET Awards, honestly. I think we need to treat BET exactly how we just treated Essence Fest. Because BET, they are all in on this whole spell, y'all. Like, watch this.
Okay. Thank you very much, BET. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa. Because that's the constituency for which we got noticed in the first place. And the message from Burner, I believe, would be that every black person should please remember that you were Africans before you became anything else. That every black person should please remember that you were Africans before you became anything else. Thank you.
Why would
Okay, so you see our people.
bald-headed Nigerian old bitch who don't even know who her motherfucking mom is. We've been doing the BT Wars since we started the BT Wars, but you got a fucking African bitch from Nigeria whose son cosplay and copy black Americans and remix our music into Afrobeat songs. You got a fucking African who has no documentation of her mom, dad, grandparents, great-grandparents, etc., etc. These people have no documentation. These people don't know who the fuck they is. Y'all got a bitch that don't know who the fuck they is on stage telling black people to remember before you was anything else.
Okay, so they telling us to remember. Remember, we were hosed down, lynched down, burned down, beat down. Let me ask you a question. If somebody kidnapped your daughter, your son, your family member, wouldn't you go? And once you know where they are, where they abducted them and took them, wouldn't you go there and get back your family member? Okay, just think about it. Okay, they claim that we were stolen and kidnapped from Africa. Why in 2026 they're abandoning Africa, coming over here by the droves? Now, if somebody kidnapped your child, now you go into the kidnapper's house, you done moved over there, you living over there, you doing everything over there at the same kidnapper's house that allegedly kidnapped you, raped you, did all these things. It's a scam, y'all. I wanted you to see that one. Now I'm going to show you another one. I'm going to show you another one where this brother was banned. Oh, this is another brother. Now watch this one. This one is good.
A lot of people say that the Americans don't know where they're from. Why?
Y'all don't.
Why? Why do you think that?
I lived in the States, I'll be real.
I think Americans care enough to find out where they're from.
I'm so proud to be American.
Like, you guys don't even know where y'all from.
I know exactly where I'm from.
The census wasn't created. I can go back longer in my history to know where I'm from than you can because your country itself never documented your history. That's a fact.
Correct.
That's a fact.
I can pull up my family history right now and go as far as 6th generation.
I got 400 years. I go farther than you.
That's incredible because they documented it, right?
So it's crazy that a lot of people say that Americans don't know where they're from, but it's like, no, we know more about ourselves than you guys know about y'all because they never documented your history. That's a fact.
Who's they?
The African, well, the people that control Africa, let's say that. Them. Them. You understand?
I disagree with you.
That part, I am from America. That part. You see how he debunked their lies? They don't know where they're from, but they're going to tell us they have no documentation. They have no census records. They have nothing. There's another man that I want to show you that's been on. He was banned from the internet. Totally banned. Okay? I saw him on Sonetta. Shout out to Sonetta, always doing his work. Here he goes. I'm going to play him now.
So who are the blacks in America? Who are the black people in America?
The blacks in America been living here ever since. They are aboriginals. When you talk of America, my bro, never ever associate what America be with us anyway. For America, it's a mishap.
So are you saying that we didn't come from Africa?
No. And the people that live in West Africa were never there.
Thank you.
So who are the blacks?
Wait.
in
Hold
America?
on.
Who are the black people in America?
Okay. Did you hear what he said? The blacks
So who
and
are the blacks
the
in
Africans
America? Who
were
are the
never
black
there.
people in
Were
America?
never there in West
The
Africa.
blacks in America been living here ever since they are aboriginals. When you talk of America, my bro, never ever associate what America be with us anyway. For America, it's a mishap.
So are you saying that we didn't come from Africa?
No. And the people that live in West Africa were never there.
Thank
so
you.
Who are the blacks in America? Who are the black people in America?
The blacks in America been living here ever since they are aboriginals. When you talk of America, my bro, never ever associate what America be with us anyway. For America, it's a mishap.
So are you saying that we didn't come from Africa?
No. And the people that live in West Africa were never there.
So who?
Okay. So that man that you heard, he was banned from the internet. Okay. Because there was no West Africa. Like I said, Ghana, 64 years now, same age as me, just got their independence, but they telling us to come home. They telling us about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is an American Indian, okay, holiday from Texas. And if you go on my page, I got all the receipts. All the receipts. I love this sister here because she gives it up all day, every day. And that brother is just phenomenal when he shut them down. They always want to tell us that we don't know where we're from. Honey, I can go back. My great-great-great-great-grandmother in the 1800s, when the label of, like you saw the word black, the 1800s. Laura Means, my great-great-great-great-grandfather, David Means, they were from South Carolina, South Kakalaki. They named their first daughter, America, is America. They were the Means. Okay, I know all my ancestry. My father, I'm going to hook up with my dad and he's going to show you receipts. We got all the receipts. These people keep telling us where they're from. Where were they when we were getting beat down, hosed down, and lynched down? They never came. But now they want to come now. Okay? All right. Here's another sister.
It all starts with a Spaniard named Montejo who sails from Spain all the way to the Yucatan in order to take possession of it and colonize the people who were living there. As you can see, the Yucatan is clearly in the Americas. I blew it up so you can see it even closer. You can clearly see the United States above, Belize right below. And
I lived in Belize.
Right.
My daughter's grandparents is from Honduras. I spent plenty of time in Guatemala.
These people were nowhere near Africa. Prior to colonization by the Spaniards, the Indians got along fine. They lived in well-ordered communities where their priests were pretty much in the center of town. Everybody was taken care of just fine. All of that changed upon the arrival of the Spaniards from Europe, who was unaliving them, enslaving them, just doing all sorts of wicked things to them. And the Indians were now in fear of being taken into captivity. So a lot of them retreated into the forests in order to avoid captivity. I am going to come back and revisit this whole issue of the Indians over here in the Americas being afraid of being taken into captivity. The Indians were idolatrous, so the Spaniards burned thousands of the Indians' idols. They burned their hieroglyphic scrolls, which they deemed as works of the devil designed by the evil one to delude the Indians and to prevent them from accepting Christianity, which they forced on the Indians. The Indians fiercely opposed being turned into Catholics. Christianized. They hated it so much. They fought it tooth and nail to the point where the Spaniards, they began to cut off their limbs to punish them. They unalived many of them, forcing them to accept their God, their religion, Christianity. In what has been named the Franciscan Order of the Yucatan, the Spaniards also burned remnants and traces of the Indians' history. My opinion is that this is an effort to distort the true identity of the Indians. So what do these Indians look like? What do they wear? Breeches. Anyone that knows anything about breeches, you know that this is written in the scriptures to the Israelites. They wore breeches, the Levitical priests to be exact. The Levitical priests were instructed by their God specifically to wear breeches when they performed rites, rituals, sacrifices, and things of that nature on behalf of the Israelite community. A description of the hair on their head and on their beards was that it was rough and coarse like hog's bristles. We all know who has hair like that. The Indian women of the Yucatan were called negresses by the Spaniards. They said that the Indian women were dark-skinned, that had much larger and better bodies than their women, with large behinds that they called haunches. I'm going to be dropping some gems. Listen up. It all starts with a Spaniard named Montejo, who sails from Spain all the way to the Yucatan.
Okay, there you have it from her. That's just one of many. We have to stop. The celebrities are against us. Spike Lee, what's her name? Sierra, going over to Africa. Sierra is related to Dan Calloway. That's his cousin, okay? So it's all propaganda. It's all a lie. They're making this stuff up because they want our land, okay? They want our land, and they're not going to get our land, okay? So BET has always been a sellout. BET is not even owned by anyone of color. It's, once again, the oppressors, the Jewish people running the industry. So I have another one I'm going to take you to, because I'm just coming with receipts. Enough is enough.
This is a photo right here of Silas Jefferson, a Black Creek statesman. And he saw everything clearly. He said, quote, "If they divide us by color, they will steal the land. If they call us Negro, they will say we are not Creek. And if we are not Creek, we have nothing." He clearly warned, in another quote here, he clearly warned, quote, "The day that they make two rolls, one white and one black, is the day the nation ends." You see, Jefferson understood that a racial role is a colonial role. And once the role is racialized, the nation is racialized. And once the nation is racialized, it is destroyed. You guys see the remnants of this present day when you hear about the Creek freedmen fighting in court to have their citizenship rights restored. Let's talk about my grandfather, Thomas Jefferson Adams Harjo. My grandfather, Thomas Jefferson Adams Harjo. He was a Creek leader, a businessman, a strategist. He was a prominent lawyer, Chief Justice of the Muskogee Creek Nation. And he was a man who saw the economic side of racial reclassification unfolding. He helped create the Creek Oil and Gas Company, the first commercially successful oil operation in what would become Oklahoma. But you've never heard that in school before, huh? You guys have never heard that the first successful oil operation in Oklahoma was not just spearheaded by a black man, not just spearheaded by my grandfather, but was spearheaded by a Muskogee Creek Indian who's been racially reclassified throughout time. Before statehood, before corporate takeover, before the oil barons, he implemented a rule that white prospectors hated. He said, if a white man, and this is a quote, "If a white man wants to drill for oil in Indian territory, he must partner with 3 creeks." That's right, because he knew they were trying to erase Black Creeks. They were trying to reclassify us. They were trying to steal the land. They were trying to seize the oil. And they were doing it by looking at people and calling them Negro. This was defiance. It was about sovereignty. It was about economic protection. My grandfather understood what was coming. If Black Creeks were reclassified as Negro, our land becomes non-Indian. Our oil becomes open to white leasing, and our future becomes white controlled. And he fought that, just like Silas Jefferson fought it, just like the traditionalists fought it.
Shout outs to Mike TV. It's helping me get my genealogy and tribal affiliations in order. I'm actually going to go to a family reunion this coming weekend. So shout out to you, Mike, and I got faith that you're going to make it happen. You know what I mean?
This is a photo right here of Silas Jefferson.
There you have it. We were prisoners of war. Prisoners of war. This is what I want to say. The Africans, the Asians, the Arabs, 7 nations came against us to fight us. We lost the Civil War. We were prisoners of war. So when you hear the Africans keep saying that we're related to them and no, it's not true. We have nothing to do with them. Nothing. Okay, we're not related to them at all. My blood type is O negative. Okay? Their blood type is AB negative, positive, and so on.
Motion detected at the
Okay?
parking lot.
So BET is a scam, and it always has been to keep us down. Okay? I like this brother right here too. Let's listen to him.
Black Americans saying that they're indigenous is not self-hate. It is actually quite the opposite. Learning your family and learning where your ancestors come from and verifying what your ancestors or your family has passed down to you is self-love.
World War I is from 1492 to 1775, when America was attacked by 7 countries simultaneously for 283 years. They bombed.
And the Africans was in on it.
Took Alaska, Netherlands took Canada, British and England took the west east coast. Italy took Texas up to the Gulf. France took New Orleans up the Gulf. And Spain came around the west coast down through Argentina, Chile, and up the backside. 7 countries attacked Black America. In 1775, we surrendered and lost the right to vote. They put us in slavery camps. They labeled them reservations, and the ones that did not go on reservations was labeled Negro.
Black Americans saying that they're
and that is a
indigenous
fact.
is
That
not
happened to
self-hate.
my great-great-grandfather, and my father can attest to it. We were in Harlem 2 years ago, and we saw Sarnetta. Sarnetta went live on us, and my father was able to back up everything I said because he has taught me, and my mom has taught me, that we're American Indian. Don't fall for this African thing. I was just looking at all those so-called celebrities that act like they are for you. They are not for you. Because let me tell you, it's a scam. It's a whole scam. Okay, here's another good brother that I love. I want to put him down because we've been reclassified.
Part 1, I told y'all we're not immigrants. We're prisoners of war. But here's what they really don't want you to know.
Let me start it from the
I told
beginning.
y'all we're not immigrants. We're prisoners of war. But here's what they really don't want you to know. This reclassification wasn't just some old history book only. It happened in real time. Document and deliberate. In the 1800s, the U.S. Census records began to erase indigenous identity from paper. Tribes labeled as Negro, bloodlines retagged as black. Freedmen put on rolls instead of sovereign registries. They didn't just enslave the body. They rewrote the status. That's how they turned full-blooded indigenous Americans into African Americans. Then they passed the Dawes Act. The Indian Reorganization Act, they told our ancestors, claim to be black or lose your land, meaning refuse. Most were removed. That's why so many of us feel disconnected, because our story was reprogrammed. Our identity misfiled. But your DNA doesn't forget. The land doesn't forget. In part 1, I told y'all we're not immigrants.
Okay, the land doesn't forget. So you hear it yourself. You hear it for yourself. Let me tell you something. Y'all need to stop following these celebrities. They don't care about you. Let me tell you, my father, he met Spike Lee. I done met Spike Lee. I done met all those celebrities. And they're all fake. They're fake. Okay? Okay, this is the sister doing the census right here. Here she go. She gonna do her genealogy.
I'm about to show y'all the different races of people that hijacked our identity. Now, this is one of our brothers. You can clearly see he was born in the U.S. in 1880, and they named him, and as you can see here, the event was, he was registering for the draft.
A Negro
Now, check this one
Indian.
out.
You see that?
This one is from Ireland. That's his birthplace. And what does it say there?
Native American.
You see this? Here's another one. This was his name, from Siberia.
Siberia.
And look, there it is. It says on the census, he's Siberian. His father's birthplace, Siberia. Mother's birthplace, Siberia. Birthplace, Siberia. But you're an Indian. So they literally came to the U.S. and just took our identity. Moving right along. Syria. Here's another one. Japan. Singapore. Race.
Native American. How?
So how can you be born in all these different countries, and then when you come to the United States of America, you are just automatically a native of America? That's the hijack, fam. That's the hijack. This is how they became us. Here's the definition of an American. And those people are clearly not copper-colored people. Copper, this is copper. This is me next to a copper penny. Okay, you can clearly see. Those people that were named in those documents, they're not this color. They're not this color. And what does that mean? They ain't us. They impersonated us. Although the majority of us were copper-colored, there were brown-skinned, red-skinned, and dark-skinned natives of America. We come in all shades. I'm about to show y'all the different
That part.
of people.
So when I tell you we are debunking the lies and we are providing receipts, y'all got to stop being so hungry about celebrities. They don't care about you. The Beyoncés, the Jay-Z. Look what they did to Michael Jackson. He knew about the Epstein list. Most of these people that you worship and love, they're all on the Epstein list. Okay? They're demonic. They're evil. All of them. None of them have done anything for our community. Okay? I'm going to let you hear another brother.
No too long, I wore my heart like a name on a shirt. Now I keep it buried when nobody can work. A man don't turn cold for no reason at all.
Okay? So he's telling you right here, research all 51 states and their indigenous tribal informations. Okay? That's the key. Y'all not doing your research and y'all listening to these celebrities, these athletes, and these politicians, because it's politics. They're tricking you. I want to find, okay, I like this sister too, and I'm going to do Getty. I love Getty. Getty.
You know what else that never makes sense to me logically? If you were shooting from Africa, right, why not just label us that in the records from the beginning? But instead, you just relabel over 7 different times. This is only for educational and academic purposes only. Anything I say in the video is based on historical documents and my own research. Do your own research and use your own discernment and come to your own conclusions. That just tells me that the goal wasn't to record where we came from. It was to erase who we truly were. But let's get into this list. American Indian, the first label.
Okay, you see how they doing? Okay, and you go back.
You know what else that never makes sense to me logically? If you were truly from Africa, right? But instead, you just relabel over 7 different times.
That's right. 17
This is only
times.
for educational and academic purposes only. Anything I say in the video is based on historical documents and my own research. Do your own research and use your own discernment and come to your own conclusions. That just tells me that the goal wasn't to record where we came from. It was to erase who we truly were. So let's get into this list. American Indian, the first label.
At your Odessa driveway.
Okay, so we've been reclassified from Indian to savage to what is it, mulatto to okay, here's a good elder. That's a good elder right here.
97% of all the black people in the United States were here before 97% of all other people here are even arrived today.
Thank you.
Remember that. Very important. When somebody starts telling you to go back where you came from, you say, hey, 97% of my people were here before y'all ever arrived. And so if anybody's going to leave, the last leave first. And the people who developed everything should stay here. Because everybody else got a free ride. So let me tell you what happened between 1710 and 1712 and the Civil War. Let me show you what blacks did in terms of accumulating wealth. 97% of all the black people in the United States were here before 97% of all other people here are even arrived today. Remember that. Very important. When somebody starts telling
Remember
you to go back
that.
to
So
your
when
game,
that lady, that Nigerian who just got their independence 64 years ago, thanks to civil rights judge Thurman Good Marshall, he got the backs, the British off of their backs, telling you she has no timeline. She has nothing. Okay? She has nothing to prove. She can't even prove why we're who we are and what we are. It's another good brother. Okay, let me see why. I don't know why he's so low. That's the roles of the Choctaw. Okay? This is who made us that. This is him. That's where my family's from, Virginia. My great-grandfather and them.
Motion detected at the parking lot.
90 million acres they stole. Paper genocide. Okay, so that brother broke it down with facts. They don't have a census in Africa. They have nothing to prove who they are and what they are. Okay, but they want to sit up there and tell us who we are. That remember that we from them. Okay, here's the sister again.
Motion detected at the parking lot.
I love her.
You are stating that the Gullah Geechee are primarily Sierra Leone and Benin descent, and they of Benin and Sierra Leone descent lie. And this is why. Benin did not even become a country until 1960s.
Didn't I tell you?
It wasn't even called Benin back then. And
That's
Sierra
right.
Leone was not officially actually called Sierra Leone until
Thank you.
1961.
And I'm born
apparently in
1962. Told
the
you.
Portuguese actually named it Sierra Leone. Okay? So that name Sierra Leone and Benin, they were not even...
I'm glad she said that because Nigeria is named after a Caucasian journalist. Okay? They get up there and say that, remember, we're African. They don't even remember. They have nothing. The names of their countries is named after the Caucasian, but they're all mixed together. The Caucasians, the Asians, and the Africans are the same race. That part.
You are stating that the Gullah Geechee are primarily Sierra Leone and Benin descent, and they of Benin and Sierra Leone descent lie. And this is why. Benin did not even become a country until 1960s. Huh? It wasn't even called Benin back then. And Sierra Leone was not officially actually called Sierra Leone until 1961. And apparently in 1462, the Portuguese actually named it Sierra Leone. Okay? So that name Sierra Leone and Benin, they were not even in existence. Okay? And last but not least, you must understand that those people who are in West Africa today actually migrated from the Americas. And these are the groups that migrated. The people of Benin and Togo are listed, as well as the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Nube, the Ewe, the Akan. There are also oral traditions among those groups stating that their people came from across the Great Water. Those people migrated from the Americas. Why is it so hard for you to understand that? A Negro is not an African. He is an American. You are stating that the Gullah Geechee are primarily Sierra Leone and Benin descent. And they of Benin and Sierra Leone descent lie. And this is why. Benin did not even become a country until 1960. It wasn't even called Benin.
So she's saying
exactly
what I'm saying. Okay? The same thing I just told you before I even showed you receipts. Here's another brother. I'm going to shut it down today,
Real
BT.
quick, right? They were in the, we're talking about the Black Seminoles. They started off in Florida, right? Yeah. So we're talking about Black people integrating into the indigenous.
Yeah, but you see, like the Florida Seminoles that are there now, that's not original Florida Seminoles.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's why if you look at the Caribbeans, they have Seminoles there too. Because Black people are already here, bro. So it's, yeah. So you tell me, if you look at history, yeah, they're put down like when they brought all the Germans, people that they yeah, exactly. But they don't, but okay, where's ours? If y'all brought so many slaves over here, then where's that at? Because it's a lot. Right. You didn't bring nobody over here. Yeah, you brought a couple of them. I think it was like 4 or 5%. You know what I mean? But you didn't bring none. You say now, like what they do in America, the infrastructure of slavery was for them to win, for them to be able to gain. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't gain over us. So those Seminole Wars were all over that because of what had already transpired in Africa. But when they came over here, the blacks were like, no, y'all know this, that we were never slaves to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So they fought. They had like 3 Seminole Wars in Florida, won all of them. They don't say that in history. They went to Oklahoma because they say, all right, cool, they're going to be here in Oklahoma. The Black Seminoles never were satisfied because they said, okay, we here 10 years and the United States government tried to take them back into slavery. Yeah, like so they came down, you know, and they were here in Brackett, where there's the Rio, Pecos River, all that. So the Kickapoo, and this is even bringing in the Kickapoo and getting killed by the Apache, Comanche, and all that. So the chief from the Kickapoo came and told the black chief, the ones that were in power, that were leading us, they were like, oh, you know what, can y'all help us because we just getting killed. So they came with us. But now, you know, they even try to leave us out of that history, you know what I'm saying? Because now they got, you know, white money, yeah. So that's the whole thing. So just like this here, the June 19th been celebrated for a long time. The only time I've ever missed June 19th was like in 2002 when I went to college.
How your ancestor used to be the border patrol?
Oh yeah, that was what they were. They were border patrol. If you look at even like San Antonio, New Braunfels, Texas, all them things, they were established after they dismantled the Seminole, you know what I'm saying, and Brackett and Fort Carter. And if you look at their history, it's letting you know if you're smart enough and you read and you can put things together, you know that's why it was, because it was safe, so they could say, oh, this is when New Braunfels was established, this was established, all this. You know what I'm saying? They were all established in the 1800s, so if you ruled people while you established in the 1800s, like, you know what I mean, already close to the 1900s. So what's the difference? You know what I mean? So that lets you know. But if you don't like to look up history, that's like the Caribbean. A black man in the Caribbean, why would they not be here? Dominican Republic. You ruled people while you established in the 1800s, like, you know what I mean? Already close to the 1900s. So what's the difference? You know what I mean? So that lets you know. But if you don't like to look up history, that's like the Caribbean. A black man in the Caribbean, why would they not be here? Dominican Republic, all that, Haitians, all that. The same. Why would they not be here?
Jamaicans, the West Indies.
I was born in San Antonio.
Do you have family members here?
Yeah, all my family's here.
They were born here?
Yeah, I was born here. My grandfather, my My grandfather wasn't born here. He came over here. My daddy was born here. And all my sisters were born here. Karina, all of them were here.
So, like, how important was it your family to in your family, was it for them to keep up their heritage and letting you know?
It was really important more for my uncles, my dad's brother. He was really very proud of him being. He was very proud of being black, of what he was. He never denied it. Like I am. I'm very proud of being black. You know what I mean? It's something that that's not. You know, you can't make no other color without black.
You know, I think there's a lot of Mexicans that have they might have a black heritage, but they don't know it because their parents taught them.
That's like the Oaxaca Guerrero, what I'm telling you about. A lot of the guys that were real revolutionaries in Mexico and the Mexican history, they were mixed with black. But they keep that out of it. But now they're going to they looking it up down. They're going to do it because that's all it is. It's racism towards one race. You know what I mean? That's all it really is. So
that's like history that we can say the same. History is being suppressed across the board. It's not an American thing. I be making videos and they always say, "Oh, you American? You trying to?" No. I'm just trying to learn.
Just like in Brazil, just like in Colombia, Argentina, all them places. They're being suppressed. France,
Peru.
Okay, yeah, that's what I say to you. If you look at France, why did France win the World Cup when they won it? They won it because they had nothing but black talent. If you look at the ideology of France, okay, you're saying that these are white guys, then why did not that color of people win it? They were black. That won you over. But it's good for when we win stuff for you, but it's not good for us to want our own business. It should be told. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But it's good when you suppressing us because you're making money off of us. You know what I mean? Right. So yeah, man, that's why I tell you, you have to. All people of color need to know and find their own stuff, their own history. They'll make their people their family more stronger in that way.
That part. Now that was a brown, melanated, carbonated Mexican. Okay, the real Mexican. The whole world was inhabited by people that look like us. Okay? You know what I'm saying? So when we say that we're not from Africa, we're not from Africa. We're not. So BET, stop the propaganda, stop the lies. I don't even watch BET because I know BET is a fraud. But all you celebrities, people are finding you out. I shout out all the celebrities that go and the athletes that let the world know they're indigenous to America. They're this from this tribe, that tribe. They're a toxin and original to here. Like I like this sister here. She goes hard and they go hard on her. But she goes very hard.
So we're all of these things. And now you could tell me if this has... Y'all remember all that shit they was talking back in the day when they were like, oh, black people could never sue for genocide because they're not a nation. We are a protected class of Americans, which is a nation. Let's look at the legal definition of genocide. The intent to destroy in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. We happen to be every single one of those. So we are a national group of Americans, American Indians. We are an ethnical group, we are a racial group, and we are a religious group because we were enslaved through the doctrine of discovery that converted us from spiritualists to Christians. And I know you're not ready for that conversation, but we'll talk about that later. Right. So we're all of these things. And now you could tell me if this has happened to the black community. Killing members of the group, causing seriously bodily or mental harm by hunting them, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring apart its physical destruction in whole and part, mass incarceration that was made legal through the 13th Amendment. There you go. Redlining. And then 4, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. Guilty. Because we know that our children died 3 times more than anybody else, our children and us, when they say they've given birth to them in their hospitals. So that's crazy. And then 5, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. They transferred all of us as American Indians and then called us black and said we was from Africa. So they transferred us on the United States Census from our legal status to being black people from Africa, even though that contradicts the 14th Amendment, which makes what black Americans have gone through the longest genocide in history. If you started in 1493, it's been 533 years. If you started with July 4, 1776, then it's been 249 years. Either way.
And she's right. My aunt lived to 102, and she tells that same story. So the moral of this story is to do your research. Stop listening to BET and all of them, having people that just came out of colonialism that was never really actually in West Africa, because it's just been developed. The same age as me, 64 years ago, in the 60s. Okay, everybody knows, the whole world knows that we are not African. So the Africans need to stop.
Now, when I see posts like this, it always
Maybe
makes
I'm
me
do it right
wonder
now.
just how long
One second,
is it
babe.
going to take before more of our brothers and sisters wake up and see the bigger picture? If this Caucasian lady can see it as clear as day, why do we still have our blinders on?
How did I not see this? That African and African Americans are two distinct people. Now I'm going to say some, because some are actually descendants from Africa and they come here, and so they're called African Americans. And there are some that are called African Americans here that are actually native to the Americas. Many quote unquote black or African Americans are actually native to the land here in the United States, while some were shipped over here during the slave trade.
Not many.
Already, quote unquote,
Not many.
black people
Look at the
here
manifest.
that were already here in the Americas. According to the National Museum of the American Indian, black natives exist. We are indigenous people of the Americas and the Caribbean. You know that guy that claimed he discovered America? Yeah, he did not discover anything, because there were already people here. Black people were present in the Americas prior to Christopher Columbus and prior to the transatlantic slave trade. Why would Western scholars hide this from us? Do you guys think there's something a lot deeper here? Again, this is just me thinking out loud. They clearly wanted us to know that.
So you heard her. I want to say this before I go, because I have a very amazing, handsome, wonderful man that knows that he never bought the African, never bought that rubbish, right, babe?
Right.
He never bought it. But look up Albert Perry. They thought he was African American. His Y chromosome is the oldest Y chromosome in the world. It goes back, his DNA Y chromosome shatters the out of Africa theory. It goes back 340,000 years. 1,000 years. Okay? So when BET gets up there and they embed like the what did he said, the Essence Fest, all these people are not for us. None of them are for us. They're against us. And it's time for us to keep moving forward and get back our land. Did you see one of them I showed? 90 million acres. 90 million. There's another one I posted, 200 million acres of land. This is our land. So the Spike Lees, the Sierras, the Ludacris, and what's his name? Dr. Umar Johnson, who's is a descendant from Cuba, which is in America, because Jamaica is in America, Haiti's in America, Santo Domingo's in America, Colombia is in America, Peru is in America, Argentina is in America, Brazil is in America, Guatemala, my daughter's great-great-great-grandmother and them is from Honduras. Then her great-great-great-grandmother is from the Cayman Island. We are all Americans. That's why I have the shirt that says 100% non-immigrants. We are not immigrants. We're all Americans. There's a sister that was saying to me, and Trinidad is in South America. She gonna say, because you know I was in the Rastafari culture, she gonna say, so you is American? I said, yeah, I'm American. My daughter was 9 years young. She gonna be 27 soon. And my daughter looked at her, and we looked at her, and she said, so you is American? I said, yes. I said, and so are you. She said, how you figure? I said, Trinidad is in South America. That makes you an American. Just like the Jamaicans used to always say, America, America. Bro, Jamaica is in North America. You are American too. Y'all need to do your genealogy. Y'all need to know geography. People don't know geography. That's the biggest problem. So I'm going to come back again because I'm going hard on BET. And I'm going to bring on Gaddy. I'm going to bring on The Earth Speaks and all the rest of the great Origine Sounds and Alicia Nicole's, all the great ones that's on there, giving, providing receipts. We are woke. We already know. We've been knowing. Thanks, shout out to my mother who's 85 years young. My father, 84, going to be 84 in September, years young, always telling me, my great-grandmothers, my great-aunts, all the people in my family that let me know that I was always from here. So when Africans say, oh yeah, they so proud to be Americans, we are Americans. And on that note, I'm going to let you go because I got to go take care of my love of life. And, you know, he's the best. He knows. And that's why I love him. And that's why we're together. It's because he knows. I will not be what they say, an idiot. So I want to end with this great man right here, because he's all that. He's a Hebrew Israelite shepherd, pastor, and he keeps it real and he keeps it moving. This is the man that knows that he is not African. Could you tell him, baby, how you never went for that African stuff when we grew up in New York? We're both New Yorkers.
That's right, from Brooklyn.
That's right, Kirkland, Brooklyn. I was born in Harlem, raised in Brooklyn. Could you tell them when you grew up in the streets of New York how they started that whole African? Because he's born 1976. Right. I'm born 1962. Right. So the 70s, the 60s was horrible. It was harsh. The 70s, it got a little better. But the 90s, that's when it came, 1988, when Jesse Jackson said that we were African American, which we wasn't. And the 90s, the whole Africa bombarded, that whole hip hop, the whole entertainment took that lion red with it. Can you tell them, baby, that you never fell for it?
Yeah, I never fell for the okie dokie. New York, they used to always say, y'all West Indian for a reason. Y'all call y'all West Indians for a reason because you're Indians from the West. From the West. I never fell for the whole African thing. It's just something in my being without even knowing the true history. I just always knew I was an African. It never registered. I never accepted that.
Could you tell them how in New York?
Not that I have any problem with Africans.
No, we don't.
I just never.
Right. We don't have any problem with Africans, but stop saying we are the same. We're not. Okay? You don't see a Japanese calling themselves Korean. You don't hear a Korean calling themselves a Malaysian. Yeah. You don't hear Italian calling themselves a German and saying, oh, you're German when they're Italian. But all of them came from the Caucasus Mountains on all four like dogs. They all was in the, so that, we was the original inhabitants of this. But could you tell them in New York for many years on Labor Day, they had the West Indian Day Parade. Right. And what do they dress up like?
They dress like the Indians. They come with the feathers and everything.
The paint like me here.
That. So we've been doing this. This is nothing new for us.
Forever since. We're not new to this. We're true to this. Right. So all of you out there that think you African American, okay, if you think you're African, why are your people abandoning their country and coming over here? Why are they building up Africa? Why they're coming here and bashing us who have been here from ever since? We made it possible for everybody to come over here in the Civil Rights Act. The civil rights movement, we got hosed down and beat down. Martin Luther King never said he was African. Malcolm X never said he's African. If you go back to the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and the 1950s, if you call somebody black, you was attacked. Because in the 1950s, we were reclassified as colored. Black was an insult. You need to go back into televisions and start watching the 50s, the 40s, and the 30s, and the 20s. There's no mention of African because we are not African. So I have to give this beautiful man this beautiful meal that I have made for him. All organic, don't panic, because he is the bestest. And I wanted him to be a part of it because he always know that the Hebrew Israelites are from where, baby? Right here.
Right here, North, South America, right here.
Right, North, South, and Central America. Right. Shout out to Central America. I lived in Guatemala, Belize. Shout out to Central America. Right. Okay, because it was the Central American Mayans always saying to me, Princesa, tú estás el original americana. Tú no eres africana. La verdad. That part. So we love you, and we're going to feed this handsome man a great meal. Peace and natural hair grease.
Check
Much
out my
love.
book. It's coming out.
Check out his book, The Words of the Upright, of the Righteous.
The upright words.
Right, The Upright Words of the Righteous, which is an amazing book. He's working on it every day. And as you know, I always post about him because I love me some him. So BET, stop fronting. BET, you're a sellout, just like the Essence Award. And we're done with you because the whole world knows that we're from here and not over there. And the whole world's coming over here. Asia and Africa and Europe, the Caucasian, because they're all the same people. So I see y'all again. Much love and light. And I reserve all my exclusive rights, Facebook and any other platform. Peace.